Why don't you go by line by line?
Yes, okay. But sub-account number 215 for consultant services. These services were requested during the course of the year under the engineering budget. They include Omland Engineering as an expenditure, Richard Smith Surveyor as an expenditure, T&M Associates as an expenditure, Boswell Engineering as an expenditure. Pannoni's work was generally covered under capital projects, and I believe Boswell also was at least 50% offset by capital project work. Hatchball McDonald is also a third-party professional service that we've used to keep our GIS maps and coverages up to date. And between those 6 consultants, that comprises our $35,000 expenditure in 2008 for professional services.
Your budget was 15,000, expended 35. There's a disconnect there. Are you
There
sure?
was.
Yeah. Are you sure you're going to get back down to 15,000 in 2009? I guess.
It depends how many issues come up. The Boswell issue that came up was Britain Street. We had a serious accident there. We wanted to go out immediately for design work on the intersection to see if it could be improved. They immediately went to DOT and did a warrant analysis. And so items like those, which are outside of normal programming, do crop up. Okay. The Hatchmont issue is more of a year-to-year coverage update. That's maintaining our maps, right, which is important. Smith Surveyor did the tax map issue and completed those about a year ago. They had a capital appropriation for it. However, there were some edits that were required during the closeout and back and forth with the state to get those digital tax maps fully approvable by the state. Those digital tax maps were received, luckily by me, about a week and a half ago. And so finally that's done, and I think it puts you in a good situation to move forward on other important issues that deal with tax maps. Omland Engineering, we had some traffic analysis done. There was an issue that came up on Glenweld Road. Drew University, Thursday Morning Club, they went out and did some site inspections for me, and those were not covered by a bond because we excused those costs. Same thing with Grace Episcopal Church.
Okay, thank you.
Hey Bob, can I ask a question? The traffic study for the 53 acres, was that also in there for the prior year? The $15,000 that we contributed towards the county regional traffic?
Oh yeah.
That's no longer.
It was budgeted last year. Where that?
I believe it was budgeted in this account, and it was $15,000, which may be another reason why the account was overexpended. But it was a one-time event to do the regional, our contribution towards the regional traffic study.
Right, that's right. Whatever happened to the regional study?
It's been completed.
What did we get for our money?
We got a report after we own the property, so.
Actually, I don't think it's 100% done, right?
It's not completed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So. Yes, I know there was a lot of talk about whether to take that from a capital source or whether to put that in the budget. And if that did come out of this, it's no surprise. So that probably came out of this budget as well.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Elias, you have a question?
Yeah, I did. Thanks. On your summary sheet on the front page, original budget 2008, is that a misprint? Should that be 15 as opposed to 35? Just to be consistent with the next page, or am I reading it wrong?
My printout has 39 actual, 35 original, 35 expended.
Yeah, and shouldn't the original budget, based on what Oscar was just discussing, shouldn't that be 15 as it's reflected on the next page?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's possible.
just so we get just so we get proper analysis on all this stuff. Thanks.
And excuse me.
Go ahead. Okay. Please announce it.
Yes, Mr. Connolly has arrived. Let the record reflect.
Thank you.
Yeah, and
but then
just follow through.
Across,
yeah, just follow through for me, Bob, on that summary sheet all the way down to make sure we've got all our numbers right, so that we do have an accurate comparison for what was the three relevant, or four relevant columns for purposes of this organization, for this exercise, what in fact was proposed, what was actually incurred, and where we are. So just double check that and then just get back to us at some point. I'm not gonna ask you to try and run those numbers off the top of your head.
It should be
We'll be flipping
15.
back an awful lot.
Or you're saying that they shouldn't be 15?
No, I think the front page, it should be 15.
Yeah.
And I just wanna
Originally,
make
it
sure.
probably was 15, and then it was amended by 15 because of that regional traffic study. That's, I think,
All right,
John.
so
Okay.
that's the question
So,
you have. I got
yeah,
it.
just get them, I think so they're coordinated, so whatever we reflect on the summary sheet is also supported what you've got on the backup sheets.
As an operating average, I looked back a couple of years and it looked like 17.5 was the regular number, but it looks like 15 was the number last year, so it's bounced back and forth around that until something comes up that we need to handle, so.
Again, for my purposes, it simply helps when I look at a department proposals to have the ability to compare and contrast budgeted
Oh, sure.
for the prior year,
Absolutely.
actual for the prior year, and then what you're seeking for the current year. So I just want to make sure we've got the right numbers. Thanks.
Will do. Okay, next sub-account number is office equipment. We have copiers, which are maintained through Konica Minolta. It's an extremely time-efficient and valuable resource, not only for land use services, but the entire borough. You find the whole borough up here using it. It's a multifunction copier. It scans, does everything, and those are the costs. There might be a couple of shelving units as part of that office equipment budget as well, and that was included in our expenditure last year. Probably we'll have some more in this coming year. 317, photo and precision equipment. What happened here? We had a expenditure of $133 and a budget of $2,300. So what happened there was our licenses, which come from ESRI as the GIS provider, Autodesk is the AutoCAD provider, and Spatial Data, which is our operations software provider, were moved to the construction budget and taken from the construction budget because they were an eligible state cost for operating the construction department, even though we use them in engineering and planning and zoning. So I believe that's why there was an huge underage on the budget there. There's potential reduced costs for photo and precision equipment moving forward on that line item.
Well, Bob, the fact that you've brought it up back to what it was in 2008 suggests that you're going to move it back out of construction budget into this. If you're not, then this definitely needs to be reduced.
Well, maybe I can jump in. The construction office budget for the first time since '04 operated at a deficit. It wasn't fully supported by fees. A review of our analysis for January, we had less than $1,000 in permit application fees, so it's going to be a really tight year. So we're going to make two actions. One is to reflect the costs that we thought we could pay through fees in the actual operating budget, and two is we're going to come to the governing body with an amendment to our fee schedule to try to bump up our fees that haven't really been increased over the last 4 years. So that's one of the reasons why it was left here, because we may be counting on a funding source that's not real. When this cost is going to be real, we may not be able to pay for it with fees because we're operating the office at a deficit for the first time in 5 years.
Okay.
That was the reason. But
In the final analysis, you're correct, though. It should be one or the other, certainly not both.
So was that the only item that you moved from construction here, or are there other items that that of the same category?
No, I believe that was the only
That
item.
was the only item? Okay.